Okay, so today we're going to be talking about reading comprehension. Do you know what that word means? It's kind of like a really big word, isn't it? Okay, so basically you already do it and you just don't know that you're doing it. So it's important because it means like when we understand something, like when Miss Felker reads something to you and then she asks you questions, that means it's comprehension because you're understanding it, right? Okay, so, and it's important because as you get older, like when you get in second grade, you have to read a lot more.
That is a lot.
I know. And then you like read for information more. So I'm gonna show you like how we do it first, and then I'm gonna read you this awesome book called Miss Nelson and Missing.
That's your name.
That's not my name.
It is.
Whatever. And then we're gonna answer some questions. So our I can statements for the day. Ready? Repeat after me. I can develop an understanding of what comprehension means. Comprehension. There you go. And then I can answer questions about key details in a text read aloud. Perfect. Okay, so what reading comprehension is it's like this really like big skill, like this big, right? And it has a lot of different parts, so there's not just like one way to learn about it, but you can use a bunch of different strategies to get reading comprehension while you're reading something. So what it means is like when you understand something that's read to you. So like if I told you a story about me going swimming at the beach, and then I was like, Amina, what did I just tell you a story about? And you said, well, Miss Martins, you just told me a story about you going swimming at the beach. Then that means you comprehended what I said, right? Are you gonna copy everything that I do? Okay. And then when you're able to remember like the plot and the characters in the story and the setting, do you know what those words mean? What's plot? It's like what it was about, right? Like the overall story. Plot is overall. And then what are the characters? You know that one.
What characters?
Like in a story, the characters are what? Are they the animals? Are they the people? Are they the things? What are they? People? Good job. And then what's the setting?
The setting? Oh, the set. What story of the setting?
Just like in general, like if I ask you what the setting of a story is it a person? Is it a place?
It's a place.
Good job, girl, you're too smart. And then today we're gonna focus on answering questions. So like I'm gonna read something to you and then I'm gonna ask you questions while I'm reading it, okay? Okay. Okay, so we're gonna be making predictions. You know what a prediction is? No? So it's whenever like you're trying to guess what happens next. So like if I say I am running outside and I don't have shoes on, I could predict that I'm gonna stub my toe because I don't have shoes on, right?
You're gonna step, the people that have shoes on, they're gonna step on your toes and they're gonna...
Ow, that would hurt.
Yeah, that would hurt.
Ouch. Okay, so prediction is when we're making a guess about what's gonna happen next, okay?
I just don't want to play volleyball today. I'm in soccer.
Well, at least you don't have to do it right now. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you what this looks like in a short story, okay? So I'll give you a copy, and I'll give you a copy, but I'll read it to you, okay? It's called Macy's Daydreams. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
It says, Macy and her friends are ready for summer. Today is their last day of first grade. They already have their first week of summer planned out. On Monday, they're going to go to the movies. On Tuesday, they're gonna go to the park. On Wednesday, they're going to the pool. On Thursday, they're going to go roller skating. On Friday, they're gonna go to an amusement park, like Holiday World.
Is it a story or real life?
No, this is just a story.
Oh,
Okay, Macy's teacher calls on Macy to answer a math problem that she doesn't know the answer to because she wasn't paying attention.
This girl don't know nothing.
Listen to this. We still have 3 more weeks of school left, Macy. Don't be giving up on us yet. Macy starts paying attention again, wishing for the end of school to come as fast as it can. So at the beginning of the story, what was she doing? She was daydreaming because she thought it was the last day of first grade.
I am in first grade.
You're in first grade.
I want to go.
Okay, you ready? So now we're gonna do what's called a 5-finger retell. So how many fingers do I have on my hand?
5.
Okay, so we're gonna answer them in complete sentences, and I have 5 questions. So I'm gonna put 1 finger up as I answer each question, okay? So my first question is, who is the main character, or who is the story about? So I would say, the main character in this story is Macy and her friends, right? Okay.
Macy and her friends.
The next question is, what is the setting?
The setting was.
So I would say the setting of this story is her first grade classroom, and then all the places that she's gonna go, right? Okay, the third one, what happens at the beginning of the story? Macy is daydreaming.
For the last.
And she thinks today's the last day of first grade. That would be the beginning, right? What happens in the middle of the story is she talks about all the places she's gonna go, right? She's gonna go to the amusement park, she's gonna go to the park, she's gonna go swimming, everywhere.
Everywhere in the whole entire world.
Everywhere in the whole entire world. And then the last one is what happens at the end of the story, and her teacher calls on her to answer a problem, and she doesn't know the answer because she was daydreaming, and she has 3 more weeks of school, right? So then look, we end up with 5 fingers for our 5-finger retell, okay?
School is not tomorrow, and I'm so happy, so I can go to Mom.
You're right, school is off tomorrow.
And I'm never coming back.
Oh, yes, you
Where
are.
am I moving?
Tomorrow? I thought you said.
In a couple days.
Really? So you won't be here for the end of school?
The end of the school.
You won't be here for the end of the school year?
Is the end of the school year tomorrow?
No! And we have a couple months left though. Okay.
Oh my!
So this book is what we're gonna be reading. It's called Miss Nelson is Missing, and it's by James Marshall. So just from looking at the front of the cover, what do you think this book's gonna be about?
Lucy. No. David. No.
No, not like a person's name. Just what do you think this story is gonna be about? We see a bunch of kids.
It's gonna be about.
By the title, Miss Nelson is Missing. What do we think it's gonna be about? Who do we think Miss Nelson is? Like we have like Mrs. Felker,
The
Mrs.
teacher.
Martin's, a teacher. So maybe a teacher missing?
I don't see. Where's the teacher? Oh, that's
She's not there because she's missing.
That's the teacher.
No, that's a kid.
Oh, why should
Could be that.
Why?
Okay, so after every page, I'm gonna ask you a question. So you have to really pay attention. Okay? All right. So let me turn this way. Okay, ready? The kids in room 207 were misbehaving again. Spitballs stuck to the ceiling. Paper planes whizzed through the air. They were the worst behaved class in the whole school.
And that's why she left.
Maybe. So, my first question is, are the kids in class 207 well behaved or not? Are they good kids or are they acting bad?
They're bad.
They're bad, right.
They're
Okay.
so bad. Where do I know?
All right. Now settle down, said Miss Nelson in a sweet voice, but the class would not settle down. They whispered and giggled, they squirmed and made faces. Now, do you know what the word squirmed means?
It means that
Means like, if you're like moving around a lot, like you're squirming in your seat.
that looks like you're scribbling.
Yeah,
Like
so
wiggling in your seat.
my question for this one is, what are some negative things that the kids are doing? What are they doing? It says, they whispered and giggled, they squirmed and made faces. What were they doing with these?
Making airplanes.
Making paper airplanes. You're right. So they were not good kids, were they?
Nope.
Okay. They were even rude during story hour when she was reading out loud to them. And they always refused to do their lessons.
She don't look good.
I know. Something will have to be done, said Miss Nelson.
Did you come?
So when were they especially rude? During what time? What did I say in here? They were even rude during story hour, right?
Did you paint that?
No, I didn't make this book. It was illustrated by somebody else. They drew the pictures.
They did a kind of good job.
They did do a good job. Okay, you ready? The next morning, Miss Nelson did not come to school. Wow, yelled the kids. Now we can really act up. They began to make more spitballs and paper planes. Today, let's just be terrible, they said. Not so fast, hissed an unpleasant voice. What does unpleasant mean?
That means that you...
Unpleasant means like
you are... That means like you are,
It means like not good, right? If something's unpleasant, it's like, I don't really want that, because pleasant is good. Huh?
Profitable.
Yeah. Okay, so for this page, did the kids act better or worse whenever Miss Nelson didn't show up to school?
Okay.
You want me to read it again?
Okay, so they was being, so whenever the teacher left, they said, now she's not here, let's just be, ruin the,
Terrible, yeah, let's just be terrible. So they were acting worse, right?
They are not supposed to be terrible.
I know. So why do you think they were acting worse if their teacher wasn't there?
So they could do it.
Yeah, because they could do whatever they wanted, you're right. Okay. A woman in an ugly black dress stood before them. I am your new teacher, Miss Viola Swamp.
I'm scared.
And she rapped the desk with her ruler. Do you know what rap means? It means like tapped.
I'm scared.
Oh, don't be scared. Where is Miss Nelson? Asked the kids.
Miss Nelson is right there.
Never mind that, snapped Miss Swamp. Open those arithmetic books, and arithmetic means math. So open your math books.
Okay.
Miss Nelson's kids did as they were told. So what's their new teacher's name?
The teacher name is Miss Bethlo.
Miss Swamp.
No, it's Miss Swamp.
Miss Swamp.
Mr. Windwalls.
And then, just from looking at her, do you think that she's gonna be nice or mean?
She's gonna be nice. Mean.
Mean. I think she's gonna be mean too. Because she just got there and she told them to open up their math books, right?
And they just did.
Yeah, okay.
Ooh,
They could see that Miss Swamp was a real witch.
Wait,
She meant business. Right away, she put them to work. Look at them doing all those math problems. And she loaded them down with homework. So, do the students seem happy or sad about their new teacher?
they are.
Sad, yeah.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared.
I'm always
Okay.
scared of stuff.
We'll have no story hour today, said Miss Swamp. Keep your mouths shut, said Miss Swamp. Sit perfectly still, said Miss Swamp. And if you misbehave, you'll be sorry, said Miss Swamp.
What
The
happened?
kids in room 207 had never worked so hard. Days went by and there was no sign of Miss Nelson. The kids missed Miss Nelson. So, based on her directions, do you think if somebody was doing something wrong that she would be mean to them, or do you think she'd be nice to them?
Me too. But that's what they get for trying to ruin the classroom.
I know. They were having bad behaviors, weren't they?
And now the teacher's mean.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we should try to find her, they said. Some of them went to the police. Detective McSmog was assigned to the case. He listened to their story. He scratched his chin. He said. I think Miss Nelson is missing. Detective McSmog would not be much help. So, where do you think the kids are going to go next to try to find Miss Nelson? So they went to the police station. Where do you think they're going to go next?
To the...
Where do you think they're going to try to find her at? At the store? Okay. So, other kids went to Miss Nelson's house. The shades, which shades are like curtains, right, were tightly drawn and no one answered the door. In fact, the only person they did see was the wicked Miss Viola Swamp coming up the street. If she sees us, she'll give us more homework. They got away just in time. And then drawn, when it says the shades were tightly drawn, that means the curtains were closed. right? So you see how her curtains are closed here in her house? Okay, so who did they see at Miss Nelson's house instead of Miss Nelson? They saw Miss... Her name starts with an S. Swamp. They saw Miss Swamp. And why do you think she was there?
Because who was there?
Why do you think Miss Swamp was walking up the street? Maybe she just lives close by.
Because she wanted to see if the kids was up there to make them do homework.
You're right, that could be why. She's pretty mean, isn't she? Maybe something terrible happened to Miss Nelson.
I can see the
Maybe she was gobbled up by a shark.
Oh, I see the booty.
Said one of the kids.
I see her booty.
That's her legs. But that didn't seem likely.
That's her booty.
Oh, yeah.
That's her
It's the shorts, see? Okay, so why do they think it was unlikely that she got eaten by a shark? Do you think that's do you think that really happened or no?
I think that really happened.
You think she actually got eaten by a shark? Okay, let's see. Ready?
She did.
Maybe Miss Nelson went to Mars, said another kid.
She did went to Mars.
But that didn't seem likely either. That didn't seem likely. Where do you think Miss Nelson is? If you had to guess, where do you think she is?
I think she's in like her house.
Her house. Okay, let's keep reading to find out. I know, exclaimed one know-it-all. Maybe Miss Nelson's car was carried off by a swarm of angry butterflies. And a swarm is just like a bunch of butterflies. But that was the least likely of all.
I don't know where she'd go.
So do you think that a swarm of butterflies could carry away a car in real life?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
No. Okay. The kids in room 207 became very discouraged, and that just means sad. It seemed that Miss Nelson was never coming back, and they would be stuck with Miss Viola Swamp forever. They heard footsteps in the hall. Here comes the witch, they whispered. Hello, children, someone said in a sweet voice. Who do you think's about to walk into the room?
Miss Wilson.
Nelson. So Miss Swamp is the bad one, and Miss Nelson's the good one.
She's back.
It was Miss Nelson. Did you miss me? She asked. We certainly did, cried all the kids. Where were you? That's my little secret, said Miss Nelson. How about a story hour? Oh yes, cried the kids. Miss Nelson noticed that during story hour, no one was rude or silly. What brought about this lovely change? She asked. That's our little secret, said the kids. So, how are the kids acting now that Miss Nelson is back? Good. And why do you think they're behaving better than they were before?
So the witch doesn't come back.
Yeah, exactly. Back home, Miss Nelson took off her coat and hung it in the closet, right next to an ugly black dress. When it was time for bed, she sang a little song. I'll never tell, she said to herself with a smile.
That was her!
So who was Miss Swamp all along?
The witch!
So Miss Nelson was Miss Swamp, right?
Yeah, so they could stop being bad.
Yeah, so where had Miss Nelson been all along?
That's why she was wearing that because she had the pink stuff.
So why do you think she did that? Do you think she did that to get the kids to behave and scare them?
Yeah.
Do you think she dressed up as Miss Swamp
But
for that?
that's just being mean.
She had a good reason. Okay. P.S. Detective McSmog is working on a new case. He is now looking for Miss Viola Swamp.
That's the real one?
So Miss Nelson just dressed up as Miss Swamp to get the kids to behave, right?
But where's the real Miss Swamp?
In her closet, look. She just dressed up as her. It's not a real person. She made her up. See, that's the dress that she was wearing. And there's the little blush on her cheeks, and she put on a wig.
She's going to jail.
No. Okay.
But why they say they looking for her? I got a soccer game today.
Oh my That's awesome. Hope you did good. Okay, so now we're gonna do our 5-finger retell again for this story, okay?
I'm gonna play.
We're about to here in a minute. We have like 2 minutes left.
Play what?
You'll find out in a second.
I'm gonna play.
Okay, so hold up our first finger. So who were the characters in the story? Who was our first teacher?
Oh, Miss Wall.
Swamp?
Swamp.
Yes.
And
Okay.
Miss Womb.
Miss Nelson. So say it with me. Our characters are Miss Swamp and Miss Nelson. Okay, so that's our first question. Who are the main characters? And then there were also some kids in there too, right? Right? Yeah, okay. The next one. What is our setting? So where did this story take place?
This story takes place
So it took place in a
school building.
in a classroom, and then all those other places that they looked for her, right?
Yeah.
Like the police station, Mars, the sharks, all that. The butterflies.
And
Her house. Yeah. Okay.
Wait, that's her.
Yeah.
That's what
So
I
that's
just
why.
said.
So that's why she was coming down the street and the kids saw her, is because that was her house.
That's what I said. I said that she was in her house.
Yeah, you did a great job. Okay, now what happened at the beginning of the story? How did our story start? So our story started with
the kids being bad.
the kids being bad and misbehaving. Okay, and then what happened in the middle of our story?
The middle of our story.
Mm-hmm.
The middle of the story was the children got scared
Mm-hmm.
because this is
Swamp. Mm-hmm.
Swamp. She was scaring the classmates, and she made them do homework.
Yeah. And what else did they do? Who'd they go looking for?
They go looking for Miss Nelson.
Okay, and then our last one. What happened at the end of the story? What did we find out?
Find out.
Mm-hmm. Who came back?
Miss Wilson.
Miss Nelson came back, and then we found out that she was who all along?
She was.
Who had she been the whole time? Miss Swamp. Good job. Okay, so do you have any other questions about this book that we haven't answered?
No.
You still wondering anything? No? Okay. So, can you remind me, what is comprehension?
Comprehension.
What we talked about at the beginning.
Is they was being bad.
Right, so comprehension is when you can read a story and you can understand what was going on, right? So you remember what happened in the story, so you comprehended it, right?
I just did that.
Okay, you did a great job today, and we're gonna practice.